Speaker recognizes Representative Morse.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to talk about fully supporting Michigan service members and veterans. And I want to emphasize the word fully. Full support means support for all our military members. Full support means support for veterans and their families. And as much as I would like to say that this budget offers our full support, the reality is it doesn't. Let's talk about veterans first. We know that the men and women who have served this country deserve our support. That's why we have the National Guard Tuition Assistance Program, which continues to be funded in this budget. But we also know that the families of our fighting men and women make sacrifices too, and they deserve to be supported. Where is that support in this budget? Madam Speaker, you may not know that I too am the spouse of a veteran. My husband served for 11 years in the Navy. In 11 years, we traveled from the Detroit area to California, to Maryland, to Okinawa, Japan, to Great Lakes, north of Chicago, and finally settling in Kalamazoo. While I did have a lot of education, including a graduate degree, it was hard to maintain a career as a military spouse. I sacrificed my career to raise our children and support my husband's efforts to ensure our Marines and sailors were operationally ready. What can be challenging for veteran spouses is re-entering the job market after many years with resume holes. The tuition assistance we are talking about would help veteran spouses obtain the training or education they need to successfully re-enter the job market. An additional $5 million would allow veterans to transfer their eligibility to dependent children and spouses, so that if service members themselves couldn't use the benefits or didn't need them, they wouldn't go to waste. They would be available for the family members who do so much on the home front. That's why the executive budget recommended it, but the House version doesn't include it. One has to wonder why the families of our service members aren't worth supporting, particularly when we passed legislation recently to make it easier for military spouses to transfer professional licenses to Michigan. It seems to me that we're happy to make certain gestures to be able to speak our full-throated support, but when it comes time to put our money where our mouths are, all of a sudden, we're tongue-tied. Now let's talk about our current service members. There is a $100 placeholder in this budget for National Guard Armory modernization. A $100 placeholder where the executive recommended $115 million. Why the stark difference? I can only assume it's because the purpose for this money was to make our military facilities more accommodating to women. You see, when most of our armories were built, women weren't allowed to serve in the military, or they served in a reduced capacity. Either way, their numbers were so low that it didn't make sense to give them adequate spaces. But times have changed. Women serve in every role in the military, including on the front lines of combat. They need and deserve separate bathroom and shower space, particularly at a time when our armed forces have failed to adequately address endemic sexual assault and harassment. It's adding insult to injury to simply put a placeholder down. Furthermore, this money would have gone toward ensuring that there are lactation rooms in these facilities to comply with an Army directive from 7 years ago. We are 7 years behind in complying with the federal military directive. And what does this budget say? We'll see if we can get to it. It's frankly appalling to see that some of my colleagues would say with a straight face that they support the troops.
Representative, please do not impugn the motives of our colleagues. Speaker recognizes Representative Morse.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I deeply wish I could support this budget, but the lack of support for spouses and female members is staggering. I urge my colleagues to join me in voting no for a budget that lays bare this body's priorities when it comes to supporting the troops. Performative hero worship. Thank you.